All right, it's Hulk 181 time again. So this issue is coming to me graded CGC 5.5 off-white pages. I'll let you go ahead and catch the serial number there. The CGC graders comment on cover bends, cover creasing, and spine ticks. Now, only one of those things is in principle fixable, and that would be the bends. The creasing and the spine tick lines are not going to be fixable. So if we go right down the spine here, we can see there's a couple of really light creases down there, but what's really going to get you are these here in the middle. And not only can you see that those come into the comic a little bit off the spine, you can also see that there is a vertical little bit of creasing in there, and so that is from when somebody had this thing open on their lap and they were reading it, and you can follow it down here through Wendigo's elbow, and so that is really going to limit the overall grade bump we're going to get by opening this up. We can look and see if we can find some other things. So there's a little bit of corner creasing up here. There's a corner crease down there. If we look right here in the glare, we can see, you know, that has some epic bending in there. But unfortunately, if you look straight down at it, you can see that there is color breaking in there. And so even though if we flatten that paper out, CGC is still hopefully going to flag that if they're grading it accurately. And there's a little bit of a crease up there, as well as just some very, very slight wear right in here that kind of, you know, looks a little bit abraded. If you flip this on over, you can give it a 2-second glance and see it was never dry cleaned. And, you know, you just look right down the spine, you can see all this crud on there that was never cleaned on off of it. If you look on up here, again, you know, more crud. This looks to me to be a very light stain. And so that was not noted in the CGC notes, but we can see if we can lighten that on up. If not, you know, maybe it's just stuck there when we clean it out. We have some bending going on over here and some creasing, and you know, you can kind of see that all the way down here as you kind of follow it, and this corner's got some more wear and some more crud. So overall, you know, this book I think is pretty accurately graded at a 5.5, and I think overall most of the defects are going to be non-pressable or non-fixable. That being said, the owner still wants this thing to get a little bit of a facelift, and I think this is a good opportunity again to draw attention to the distinction between, you know, what people call eye appeal or a nice looking book for that grade versus the technical grade. So something like, you know, this incredibly fine crease right here is going to really put some damage on the technical grade, but you don't notice it from arm's length. And so the technical grade of this book, I think if we work on it, is not going to go up much at all. Probably definitely not above a 6. I'd be shocked if this thing got a 6.5. But, you know, maybe we can give it a very small bump to a 6. The owner was happy with that, so we're just going to, you know, follow the owner's wishes here. Open it on up, see if we can give it a good dry clean, see if we can give it a little bit of a light whitening, and hopefully just help bring some vibrancy back to this, you know, really epic comic book that is a cornerstone of a lot of collectors' collections, and it's one that's always highly popular. And so hopefully, you know, even if we don't move the CGC grade, we can at least make it present better for the owner. So that's going to be the game plan here. Not really targeting a massive bump ski, just kind of targeting a little bit of a facelift. So stay tuned and we'll get cracking. All right, here we are with our tools of the trade, a screwdriver, our razor blade, and the scissors. And so let's just go ahead and get a screwdriver in there. Again, go for those corner post snaps. Oops. There we go. So that's the one over there. And then we'll just take it to the other side. Most of the way down. And again, I like using these as trays around the space, and so I like to try to keep them together just so that they make a little bit nicer and secure the tray, but just that little bit of a flathead down most of the spine there. So that's all we're doing. Slide this straight on up and out. There we go. Just put that down for the moment. Get the label on out of there. Send those back to the owner. Give it a light tap down. You can see this one has a pretty good border. It's not as big as I necessarily like, but that's workable around the top. So we're going to go through the top there with the razor. we go. Got that. Perfect. Go. Straight on out. There we go. Let's see if we missed anything. Pages are graded off-white. This is, I would have graded this one maybe off-white, white. It doesn't look as bad as several off-white books I've seen lately. So that's a good sign. Overall, I think we identified most of the defects that I'm seeing here in the raking glare. If I look at the interior back cover there, you know, there might be a little bit of discoloration on that top edge. Hopefully this little bit will lighten up. So check that on out. Plenty to press out. There we are. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some pictures of this, and then we'll come on back and start a dry clean. All right, it's time to get dry cleaning this thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start here on the Hulk Swish, right by Wolverine. And again, we're using our click eraser here. And we're just gonna give it some gentle rubs side to side. Again, you don't wanna put downward force on the comic. You will pull ink then. But with these really soft erasers, I think you can go over color just ever so slightly and be okay with it. So there's a little bit of extra goo there by the Hulk's fingernail. Look at that. And then this little patch right here is always one that makes me nervous. So try to go side by side, then just pull out towards the edge. Just really touch that up. You see there's just so much crud on this one. This one definitely is going to be a longer dry clean here. Need to come up with a way to get the video to speed up. You all can fast forward on your own. I'm not that entertaining. And I don't have any good dad jokes or knock-knock jokes to share while I'm dry cleaning. But if you have a bunch of jokes you like, just start telling them to yourself right now. Knock knock, who's there? I don't know. I've never been very good with the quick comedic humor. I'm more of a super dry sarcasm kind of individual. Which probably perfectly explains why I'm a comic book guy. But the good news is the channel here is growing, so I want to thank everybody who's subscribed and viewing. It's actually been really fun. So if you're not subscribed, please click the button. It doesn't cost you anything, helps me out quite a bit. Feel free to click the good old like. But it's been a lot of fun watching it go from 0 to something. At the time of this recording, I'm just about at 90 days on YouTube, so it's been pretty short. This video probably won't play for a while though, because we're going to send the book in here to CGC, and we'll wait until we get the score back before the reveal. Although the good news is Hulk 181s tend to get graded quite quickly, although moderns are quite fast now too, which is good. Way down on the CGC return time. That being said, my last 3 orders have had problems with CGC. Certainly if I had the error rate with clients' books, I would not be getting as many Hulk 181s to clean. Oh well. Go back to the YouTube channel. That's been fun. So thank you everybody who's subscribed so far. I do appreciate that. Feel free to leave a comment too. Something funny. Or just a high five. I can virtual high five you back. Again, I just have the painter's tape off camera, and I just rub the eraser across that to clean off all the fouling so that we have a nice clean start there. You can see just in that little bit there, you know, it's already starting to foul up again. Wait until I get to the back cover. Yikes. bit above the K here. Using my finger on the corner there just to make sure I don't snag it, particularly because there's creasing there. And the worst thing I could possibly do is just to rip that chunk off. So I'm going to use my finger to just keep it nice and steady. I think that'll be about it for the front there. So we went down the spine, we did a little bit by the Wendigo. Just using my Swiffer sheet there, you can see all the crud it's picking up. And just shake that off camera. Leave it on the floor for the vacuum to get later. I'm feeling I'm gonna have a whole mountain of it after we get done on the back here. We'll see. All right, so this thing needs an epic dry clean back here. I mean, just this whole bit is just super rough. So I always like to start down the spine. We're just gonna piece by piece. I'm sure some people have some ways of accelerating this or making it faster. I just do it with some elbow grease. I really do like these erasers. And you can just see the difference it makes already right there. So to compare, you know, this section to this section, you can just see how you know, nice it looks in here where we've dry cleaned and how speckled and gross it looks up there. So, and you can even compare it to down to the spine right here. So it's pretty good progress. It is, however, slow. But for a book like this, I don't mind. Kind of find it peaceful. The only downside about having a YouTube channel is I can't play music in the background or podcasts. I end up talking to myself here into the microphone, hoping you'll all leave a comment later about how goofy it is that I'm making light of talking to myself in my loft. All right, on the corners here we have our Mr. Clean Magic Eraser sheets. I like the sheets, not the cubes, so in case you missed that, you know, here's the thin eraser sheets. I just cut them into little itty-bitty squares, and as long as we're going to do one corner here, we might as well do all four corners. Just give it a little bit of a wipe there on the edge. There is indeed a stain under there, see? That was right. CGC probably didn't even see that through all the crud, or it definitely didn't note it. That's right, let's see if we can take care of it with some blue LED whitening, which we're gonna do here anyway. So, but you can see how much crud is coming off of there. And this corner's got a particularly bad streak down it. And you can go through the gloss with these eraser sheets quite easily, so you wanna be very careful of that. And I don't need to get 100%, I'm gonna save the last little bit that's over here for the eraser, so that's pretty good. And while we're at it, because this whole area in here just looks so crud, we're going to do my Ouija trick here where I just gently rub the whole cover. And again, I'm not putting downward force on that sheet, I'm just gently stroking it across the cover. We'll see, you can just see how gross it comes up. You can see right where my fingers were on there. And it does a pretty good job of getting that really light surface dirt, especially on bright colors that you don't want to put more force on. Now, if you do put a lot of downward force on this thing, or if you make a corner out of it and rub it, you will go right through the glossy and the ink. So, you know, really light pressure, really broad strokes. Just epically gross. There we go. And just based on how gross that looked, let's go back and do the front cover here and just see if we can get some of that off the red. These darker areas. Not a whole lot of red, but an awful lot of crud. So I missed something right here. It's not going to come off. All right. Don't push it. Take what you can get. All right, back to the back cover here. Where were we? This seems like a really good spot to start again. To watch the camera, if we go over about 15 minutes, the videos get harder to compile. Again, I'm using my finger there just to hold the corner down, make sure I don't snag it. I'm going to slide a little bit more on the edge. Set that really dark line through it. And then I'm going to take just over the black, really light strokes. We'll go back into that space between the paragraphs there in a little bit. But for now, we're just going to do really light. All right. Clear that. Take a pause there. Get rid of all of our happy little bits. Take the tip there as long as I have it kind of rounded into a little bit of a point between the paragraphs. Just close to the letters as I can without going over them. A little bit of the cover kind of rolling around, just a little bit of an overhang. So we're going to go to my trick here of using a backer board underneath. That way we won't put a micro crease in it along the edge. We'll see where to work here. Knew there was more hiding under there. Need a second pass. Some of this might even need a third pass. Very, very small micro tear right there, so I'm going to try to be careful around that spot. A little bit of a fingerprint there that was clearly visible. Take care of that. As long as the fingerprint is light and hasn't eaten into the paper, the eraser does usually take care of it. Just gently go over that wording. Round in the corner here, round in the corner. So much crud. Alright, did we miss anything in here? Trying to get it all. That's gonna be about as good as we're gonna get. Let this out now, don't need that anymore. If I leave it in there and I go this way over it, I'll add a little bit of a line or a crease right in that comic. I'm gonna try to avoid doing that. Another really small tear right up here. Go over the copyright text there very gently. I'm hoping the stain has just a little bit of light foxing. If it's an oil stain, we're screwed. I've never been able to get oil stains out. You'd think that they'd come out, but the oils just sit between the paper fibers and it ends up just locked in there. Alright, I think that's about as good as we're going to get this one here on the initial dry clean. So let's just give it a good solid wipe and then get it into the light box. So this thing was graded with off-white pages, which means we don't want to overly brighten everything on up. And assuming that that stain comes out nice, I'm probably going to do 3 exterior blue LED overlay treatments. And again, if you want a quick reminder, I encourage people to both follow the CPR book for the general pressing methods, but then the corresponding stain removal and whitening book, which I seem to have misplaced, but same general crew, same general look for that book. So, but that one's the stain removal and whitening, and it goes into pretty great detail on how to set up the blue light whitening. So I encourage you to check that out if you don't already have a copy. Eventually, I'll put some of my more detailed learnings here into a video. For the moment, I'm still letting the team sell the book, as it were. Get all that out from under there. Give this Swiffer sheet one more quick shake. Let's just see if we missed anything or if we're calling it good. I'm gonna call it good. I don't see anything here that's too out of place. It definitely looks a heck of a lot lighter. I mean, if you look up there, you can see the stain that I kind of called out before we even cracked the slab. And then this area just looks completely transformed already. You know, maybe right along the bottom edge there's a little bit right here. Maybe we can go back and redo. Let's just do that for kicks and be extra careful there along that bottom edge. I'm still not satisfied with this edge line that was there, so we're just gonna do that a little bit more on the magic eraser sheet. So, all right, I think that'll be about it for this one. So stay tuned. Probably gonna do 3 overlays on the front cover, 3 overlays on the back cover, 1 on each interior cover for a total of 8, or at least that's the initial plan here. Stay tuned. All right, here we are back with this incredible copy of The Incredible Hulk number 181. So this book got a total of 3 blue light overlay treatments on both the front cover and the back cover, and it looks a lot better in person. It's still not ghost white, and that's actually what I'm going for. So if I take it and compare it to a sheet of paper here, you can definitely still see that, you know, this color is not ghost white. It looks naturally aged for a book, but it does not look dingy, and the colors pop, and they're much more vibrant after that treatment. It was very important to be, I would say, a little bit more conservative with the treatment, particularly because up here we can already see some wear in that color, and I called that out while this book was still in the slab the first time, and so I don't think that this is any worse for the treatment. Actually, I think it looks a lot better in person. It's much more vibrant, but I did not want to push it any further. The back cover also looks much improved over how much dirt and grime was over this thing. So this thing now definitely looks really nice. You'll notice that there is that little bit of a stain up there, and despite some of our best efforts to take that out, I've been able to lighten it up, but that'll still get called a stain. Unfortunately, I believe that one is oil-based. It does not look like foxing or a water tide line to me. It looks like that it had yellow from some kind of oil in it over the years. And so those tend not to come out using the spot hop method at all. And so I'm gonna refrain from doing that on this book. All right, so this thing's gonna get ready for the press. So we're gonna give it a normal hydration. We'll press it at 155 degrees for 15 minutes. We're going to put a backer board in the center to support the staple and a sheet of cardstock under both the front and the back cover, and then give it a squeeze for 15 minutes and then a 12-hour cool down. So we'll take a peek at it when it comes back from there. All right, here we are with the incredible copy of The Incredible Hulk number 181. So this comic now is set after a press, and it's ready to go home and then probably ultimately to CGC. So as a reminder, this copy was a CGC 5.5, and we took it on out to give it a little bit of a facelift. The back cover was quite heavily soiled, and it just had a pretty solid yellow tinge. And so now it does not by any means look fluorescently white. And again, we can compare that to, let's just say, a white backer board here. You can definitely see the difference there in the Hulk. But it does look, you know, quite nice for a comic that you'd expect to have a little bit of discoloration after the decades, and it certainly looks a lot brighter than it did when we started. So we're going to go ahead and pack this up as I always do. So we're in a full back Mylar bag right now, and I'm just going to slide this on in a second full back Mylar here for safe shipping, and make sure it has a nice big border of protection all the way around it. And so thanks for tuning in. Keep your fingers crossed while this one goes to CGC, and while you're waiting in suspense, please click that subscribe button somewhere right down there. Thanks. All right, who's ready, true believers? The jury is back with a verdict from CGC in this copy of The Incredible Hulk number 181 that was previously a CGC 5.0, now has a 6.5. Universal Blue Label, custom Wolverine logo. Who does not love that? You get a little bit of bonus SNIKT right in the corner. And there we are. So we were able to increase the grade on this one by a full 1.0. So that's quite a nice bump, taking it from a 5.5 to a 6.5. Looking at the condition of the book, overall, I think that that's pretty fair. Flipping back through the pictures, I think the creases and some of the other defects do solidly place it around that 6.0 notation. You'll notice we've also gone from off-white pages to off-white to white pages, so that is a minor increase there in the page quality, and I think that's just carryover whitening from the internal treatments on that cover under the bled light. As well as the overall just brighter impression of the book when CGC grades and looks at that page quality. So with this, hopefully, you're able to enjoy another Top Comics Bumpski here. Please give the video a thumbs up and click that subscribe button right down below. And most of all, share the channel with a friend. So it's been a lot of fun watching the channel grow, and I've really appreciated the engagement. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and take care. Excelsior.